Um, it's 5:30. I would like to call to order the November 10th meeting of the Urbana Human Relations Commission. Uh, Can we have a roll call, please?
Carol Bradford, Stacy Burnett, Reverend Florence Kaplow, Peter Resnick.
Present.
I am here. I just had to find my mute button. Sorry.
And I think I just saw Stacy join.
Yes, present.
Okay. Francis Rigberg,
Yes, present.
Julie Robinson Schaefer,
Present.
And it looks like we have a quorum tonight. And I want to thank Pete for being in chambers tonight, the sacrificial lamb. And I would read that pursuant to the gubernatorial disaster proclamation and the declaration of emergency for the city of Urbana, Illinois, related to the COVID-19 pandemic and in accordance with changes to the Open Meetings Act, it has been determined that an in-person public meeting is not prudent or safe at this time. Members of the public body will attend remotely using Zoom webinar. Members of the public may attend via Zoom or view meetings remotely on Urbana Public Television through Comcast Xfinity on channel 6 and 1096, i3 broadband on channel 6, AT&T Uverse on channel 99, and streamed on the web at livestream.com Urbana. Okay, we have a short and sweet agenda for today. I will take a motion for approval of our agenda.
So moved.
Thank you, Pete. Second?
A second.
Who's that?
Stacy.
I'm sorry. Stacy. Thank you, Stacy. Okay, we have it moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Can we have a roll call vote? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Can we have discussion? Does anybody like to change or add or modify the agenda?
I was just wondering, do we want to add a summary of the discussion we had earlier this week? Fran, you and I and Carla, just to update the commission on plans to go forward, and or that may be just part of the officer's report.
I think that will become relevant during the officer's report, and that would be a good place rather than adding something to the agenda that's been published.
That sounds
okay. So is there any other comment on the agenda? Okay. Oh, by the way, I would like to tell Tamara that Reverend Kaplow has had to resign from our commission.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm very sorry about it too. I think she is as well. Okay, let's have a roll call vote on the agenda, please.
Stacy Burnett,
Yes.
Peter Resnick,
yes.
Francis Rigberg,
Yes.
Julie Robinson Schaefer.
Yes.
Okay, we have our approval of our agenda. We have our minutes now from October 13th. I'll take a motion on approving those minutes. Anyone?
A second.
Okay. Who moved? Pete, is that you? Oh, who moved to approve the minutes?
Stacy.
Stacy, okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Pete. It's been moved and seconded to approve the October 13th minutes. Is there any discussion of that? Anybody want to make any changes to those minutes? Okay, let's have a roll call vote on those.
Stacy Burnett,
Yes.
Peter Resnick,
Yes.
Francis Rigberg,
Yes.
Julie Robinson Schaefer.
Yes. And can I just ask real quick, because
Yes.
Asako is here and I'm not hearing her in the roll call.
I am so sorry. That is my mistake. Thank you. I am
Oh,
so
thank you,
sorry,
Brittany.
Sako.
Sorry,
I apologize. Asako, on the minutes, your
Yes.
vote.
I
Thank
agree.
you. Thank you. I am so sorry.
Okay, and is that all? Tamara, did we get all the votes?
Julie Robinson Schaefer?
Sorry.
You
Yes.
said yes. Thank you.
Okay, all righty. All right, our minutes are approved. Now we'll go to public participation. Please raise your hand if you wish to have input. Okay,
We actually only have one person, Mr. Pittman.
yes, but he has not raised his hand. So
Okay.
if he wishes to, this is your chance, Lance, if you would like to speak. Okay. So we will go on to unfinished business, which we don't have anything on the agenda for that this time. And new business, we'll go directly to our workforce statistics. I believe we have 3 companies up for consideration. And everyone has gotten that information.
4 I've got.
4? Is there a
Yeah.
4th? Okay. Okay. Is there a recommendation anyone would like to make to get us started?
You can refer to the workbook in the EEO workbook. And if you click far over to November 2021, it'll give you a snapshot of the information. So you'll be able to see that really quickly with each company and what they're looking like, instead of having to go through each application really quickly, reading it really quickly, and then we can look at the individual applications if you like.
Yes, that's great. Thank you. Okay. Get my email here.
And
Sorry.
as you're perusing, if you look at if you scroll to the very beginning under companies, it'll tell you in the previous certification line what they received, so you can get an idea of what they got previously, what you awarded previously.
Oh, that's right. They are. Okay.
Of course, the city's position is we'd love for you to recommend them all.
Yes. Well, we will in one way or another.
Yeah.
So I can make a motion if you'd like.
Yeah. that'd be great.
So I'll move to approve, and I can give my explanation after if you need. CDW Government LLC for 2 years, Mid-Illinois Concrete and Excavation for 1 year with a letter, Municipal Energy Emergency Services for 1 year with a letter, and Stark Excavating for 1 year with a letter. So moved.
Very good. Thank you. Would someone like to second that?
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
What is the content of the letter that we would be sending?
So the letter normally contains just a request on the part of the contractor to show that they're making progress, to give some indication that they're making a good faith effort toward a diverse workforce. I didn't say in the motion, but I will follow up with regard to Stark Excavating. I think we need a slightly different letter because the issue with Stark Excavating really has nothing to do with their attempts at a diverse workforce, but is more about the union situation. And I would prefer not to approve for 2 years, but rather that we sort of indicate to them that we're approving for 1 year because we're trying to figure out what to do about the union situation.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, the ordinance empowers us to work with the unions on these matters. And just as we focused on, are focusing continually on housing issues, we're probably going to at some point also make a commitment to focus our efforts on union, which is a rather major undertaking. But we want to do it.
And Fran, I don't know if you see it in your view, but Carla has her hand up.
Oh, I don't see it. Hold on. Carla, please.
I'm still learning protocol, so I didn't want to interrupt. So I'm like, I'll raise
Oh,
my
that's
hand.
okay.
And when I can
Oh, well,
speak, I
so
will
am
speak.
I. So we're even.
With Mr. Resnick stating that you wanted a different letter, could you provide some language that you would like for me to add to it?
Yeah, and I think during discussion of the motion, we can talk about what specifically to put in, and as a commission figure out what the right way to approach that is. But yeah,
Okay, I wasn't sure when to ask that.
I wasn't gonna ask you to solo and and have us give no guidance. So
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Good. I think I have a view now where I can see everybody's hands, so we're good. Okay, so we are still looking for a second on Pete's motion. Can someone do that?
I can second.
Okay, thank you, Julie. So we can have discussion now about this, and Pete's raised his hand.
So let me give you my reasoning behind the four. CDW, on the face of it, their numbers don't look great. On the other hand, if CDW is based in Lake County, Illinois, and their numbers, I took a look on Wikipedia for Lake County, their numbers are actually pretty congruous with Lake County. So I thought giving them a 2-year approval was perfectly reasonable. For Mid-Illinois Concrete, they're an Urbana-based company, and I thought the numbers didn't look great at all. And so we should probably ask them for some information on what they're doing to improve things. Municipal Emergency Services is out in Connecticut, and in an area around Danbury, Connecticut, which is relatively diverse compared to their numbers. And so I think it's worth the question. And as I said, Stark is a local company, but they have issues with regard to getting a workforce that's diverse because they're a union company and are hiring folks out of the union that is not as diverse. So, and that's something that we've talked for, quite some time about trying to address. And I think, that's probably going to be on my proposal list and probably some others for next year's projects. And so I figured let's give them a 1-year letter, but let's give them a letter saying we understand what the issue is, but the commission is looking into this and may want to work with you in the coming year, something to that effect.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions or anything they'd like to say about these? Okay, I think we can go to a roll call vote then.
And just one more
Yes.
issue for discussion, as Carla pointed out, how do we want to approach writing that letter? I'm perfectly happy to volunteer to work with Carla just one-on-one to prepare some text, or work with anybody else who wants to join me to do that. Or is there anything in particular that others want to say tonight that should go into that letter or want to volunteer to help out with preparing it?
I would only add that to the one with the union problems, to say something in there about maybe encourage them to let their union know, the union that they use, know that this might become an issue, and it is affecting their ability to get approvals for their contracts. So there's a little, drop a seed there that we might be interested in that, their diversity. Carla, you still have a hand raised. Is that still up or did it just not come down? Oh, it's down. Okay. Okay. Anybody else on this matter? Okay, let's have a roll call vote.
Stacy Burnett,
Yes.
Asako Kanazia Leggett,
Yes.
Peter Resnick,
Yes.
Francis Rigberg,
Yes.
Julie Robinson Schaefer.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. The approvals are as suggested. Now we go to the officers' report, Carla.
Hello, everybody.
Hey,
Okay, as far as closed cases, I did finally close the housing discrimination case that I had been sharing with you. It was closed with a no probable cause finding. Informal complaint inquiries, there have been multiple calls to the office concerning housing issues and one employment issue. I've been following up with this person as recently as 5 minutes before I got on this call, finishing up getting her information, and then I'll start looking at what information and can we do this, how do we do this, as far as if there's an investigation or acceptance of the information. No formal complaints have been submitted. There's a lot of the inquiries are dealing with housing, but they're very unique in like parking spaces, things like that. And so I'm just trying to figure out how to best deal with those. And so I'll be reaching out to different departments to see if that's in my purview or if it's in someone else's, and then provide that information to them if it is in their purview.
excuse me, Carla. Can you make your sound a little louder? I'm having a little, maybe
Oh,
it's.
I'm sorry.
Oh, there
I
we
had
go.
it. I had it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought I had it. I didn't have my spaceship mic in front of me.
Okay, thank you.
I'm very sorry about that.
What you're saying is important and we need to,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I can repeat it.
Okay,
we-
no, that's okay. I think, would anybody like her to repeat? She said, okay, no, I think we're good.
Okay, there are no new formal complaints. And based on looking at the information that I have and seeking counsel, then there may be. So I will update the board as that information comes in. Community office activity, worked with the chair to get the letters to landlords composed, met with the chair and vice chair for updates to the second letter for the smaller list of landlords. And once I make those revisions, I will send it to the board members for final review and prepare to mail those to the landlords. And the group of landlords are those identified landlords that we said we would send a second letter to. Working with the chair, researching cost of advertisement for the HRC for billboards. And I believe we're going to be looking at other areas such as bus side of buses and things like that. We have some information. We've reached out to the company, I guess, that had the previous billboard, and they're storing it. And so we're working with them to see what the cost will be to put up billboards and to put up a number of billboards. And so once we get that information, we will bring that information forward too. There have been a lot of calls into the office with the various concerns. We've had some with transitional living situations. And I'm just continuing to follow up with those phone calls about, what their issues are. One, I found out that the information that the potential tenants received was the actual information. And so there wasn't as much of an issue as we thought there would be, or the potential client thought there would be. but people are starting to call. They are starting to refer the office to the community members when something comes up. They give them our office number and said they told me to call you, that you may be able to help. So people are starting to understand that someone's in the office that's focused on these issues, and they are starting to refer them. My hope is to get information together so that we can start doing outreach, educational outreach with the community and all the different stakeholders, so that everyone has a full understanding of what the HRC is about, what their focuses are, and what the role of the HRO is, and the office as well as the officer. So I think that will help a lot, and it'll also hopefully encourage people that when they know the information, that they'll know who to reach out to. I also need to request for the board to be placed on the agenda for the committee of the whole for the city council for the name change. I was going to ask that it be placed on the agenda for the next meeting, but there's a lot of stuff that needs to get that needs to go through because it's time sensitive. And so I said I would wait until the next week and try to get it on the next committee of the whole meeting. And so I'll do that. And I also attended 2 town hall meetings that were hosted by the city and the NAACP of Champaign County. Outside of that, and a lot of work trying to get things closed out, finished, still working on my training, trying to get that up to par. And after meeting with the chair and the vice chair, we are going to be looking at different processes of how to move forward in complaint processes for any of the 3 areas, public accommodations, housing, or employment. So I think that would be it, unless the chair or the vice chair would like to add anything to the comments about our meeting.
I'll comment in a moment, but I did have a question first.
Yes, sir.
And now, of course, it's gone out of my brain. Let me do the comment first, and then I'll remember what my question was, I'm sure. So with regard to our meeting, and just to let the other commission members know, so we had a discussion, checking over the letter that was going out to the landlords, and making the long story short, I had a wild misunderstanding about how the process for taking complaints and dealing with complaints went. And I've been on this commission a long time, and Carla was exceedingly patient and explained everything. And I thought, it was still nonetheless surprising how it goes. And the discussion that resulted is, I think we're going to have a discussion among ourselves with Carla about how those procedures match up with the ordinance, and whether we can give recommendations to her about updates to those procedures and how she takes in complaints. So I think that'll be incredibly useful. And I still haven't remembered my question, so I'll get back to it and let others ask any other.
I have a question. How was the town hall with the city of Urbana and the NAACP?
It was interesting. I learned a lot, not having been focused on the information. I was able to sit and actually listen to all sides, and it was interesting. All I can say is it's interesting. There was a lot of passion on both sides. My heart went out for those who live in situations where they feel unsafe, where they feel like they are prisoners in their own homes, and they're looking for solutions. My hope is that, as the city stated, the UPD stated, is that this is one tool, but that other tools will be used. And I hope that people will see that and hopefully either offer suggestions or, support. I'm on the side of those who feel like they are feeling like they're prisoners in their home and they want something done. And what that answer is ultimately, going to be decided by those that, above my pay grade.
Mhm, mhm. Thank you.
Pete,
Yes, I remember my question. It's a very easy one. With regard to the name change, have you gotten any feedback from the mayor, or for that matter, city council members, if they've heard about it? Or do you feel like there's support, or no, we need to find out from them after it gets on the agenda?
I'm not sure about the council, but there is support for it in office,
Great.
in the city. Yeah, it
Terrific.
made sense.
Thanks.
does. I was going to ask about the NAACP. I wanted to say that with regard to the meeting that Carla and Pete and I had, we realized we had never actually even seen a complaint form or the wording on it. And that was always something that it was a black box, and it was very, very useful, I think, to all concerned to have that box opened up. Another topic that we're thinking about, which is in the ordinance, is the nature of a complaint process when there's not an individual complainant who's been grieved, but there's more like, I would call it, an amicus complaint from the officer concerning things that have come to their attention in terms of patterns, problematic patterns, and so forth, that should be looked at, and how that process is going to work. And I think that will be important for the community as well. So, yeah. That's anything else, Carla?
I was just going to say, prior to coming into the meeting, I was looking back and making sure that we had all of our T's crossed and our I's dotted, and we may not have. My fault. I take full responsibility for. So I was going to request that, based on the approvals of the EEOC, the EEO certifications that you made, there may be a chance that there were 3 missing that should have been in the lot. We thought we had them, but we're not sure we have them because we're not sure of the names of the companies. And so I'm going to follow up with that tomorrow to find out the names, to see if they're the ones that we've already approved, or you have already approved, or if they are new ones. And I was going to implore you to please, if possible, we could schedule a special meeting, because they are time sensitive, but I'm just not sure if I have them, and I want to make sure that we get them in, if possible.
That should be doable, especially with Zoom. It shouldn't be too much of a hardship to do that.
Thank you.
Sure. So let's see. If that's all, Carla, thank you so much for all you do. And do we have any announcements that anyone would like to make to all of us? Okay. It's not even 6 o'clock yet. Okay, well, I hope everyone has a great holiday, and maybe we'll be meeting again before December, who knows? But thank you all for your participation. It's deeply appreciated and very important. Okay, the meeting is adjourned.